India-Australia Free Trade Agreement. India-Australia Free Trade Agreement. So, I will tell you what is this Free Trade Agreement. What is this Free Trade Agreement? See, listen. Free Trade Agreement means it is not free. Free Trade Agreement means it is not called as free. What is the meaning of the Free Trade Agreement? I am there. You are there. You are Australia, I am India. Free Trade Agreement means it is not for free. Free Trade Agreement means it is not for free. It is for discounted price. A special preference will be provided. That is called as Free Trade Agreement. Means if India is trading with Australia, then there will be a customs duty. Why? Because my goods are going from India to Australia. Then what? For example, the good is 1 lakh rupees. So the customs duty is 24% we take. Then how much amount it will become? 1,24,000. So when it is going to Australia, 1,24,000 is huge amount. Why? Because original price is 1 lakh only. But by the time it reached Australia, how much it became? 1,24,000. 24,000 is only tax. Whether it is friendly? No, it is hostile. Why it is hostile? The tax is very high. Same good is coming from China. The same good is coming from China. The good price there also 1 lakh only. But there the customs duty is 5%. Means how much for 1 lakh? 5,000. So when the good came for Australia, how much it is? 1,05,000. Now Australian people will buy the good from China, or the Australian people will buy the good from India? China. Then who will have the market? The China will have the market. So here comes the Free Trade Agreement. Here such a type of taxes, such type of discriminatory taxes or such type of extra taxes which are levied will be reduced, so that a free movement of trade will be happening. For that a free movement will be happening. So this excess taxes will not be there. So whether it will be friendly now? So it will be that particular process of trade movement is called as Free Trade Agreement. Up to now, from last 1 decade, with any of the developed countries, we don't have any Free Trade Agreement. Since last 10 years, we don't have any Free Trade Agreement with any of the developed countries. After so much time, last week we have a Free Trade Agreement with Australia. What is that? It is India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement. AIECTA. AIECTA. India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement. Why it is in news? Since last 1 decade, we don't have any Free Trade Agreement with developed countries. After a long time, we had a Free Trade Agreement with a developed countries. When we had a Free Trade Agreement with developed countries, we will be benefited, not those people. Why? Because the goods which are coming, there will be no, it's going or coming. There will be no discriminatory pricing, there will be no discriminating taxes, so the amount will be less. India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, AIETCA, ECTA was recently approved by the Australian Parliament. Again, prelims point of view, very important. Free Trade Agreement without any discrimination, if the trade is happening, is called as Free Trade Agreement. That's it. Without any discrimination, if trade is happening, it is called as Free Trade Agreement. For example, Pakistan. Our goods are going to Pakistan. Then obviously they will have some discriminatory tax system. They will have, if any good is coming from China, if any good is coming from India, they will give importance to open secret. They will give importance to such type of actions will be absent if we have a Free Trade Agreement. If we have a Free Trade Agreement, the type of actions will not be there. So easy movement of goods and services will happen if there is a Free Trade Agreement. India-Australia will implement the Free Trade Agreement on a mutually agreed date. The agreement was signed by both sides in April 2022 and came into action this week. Why? Because Australian Parliament had approved Free Trade Agreement. Two things you have to understand. In India, in order to agree any trade agreement, if Union Cabinet give its approval, it is sufficient. But in Australia, to get approval for any free trade agreement or any trade agreement, it should be passed by the Parliament. Means executive approval is sufficient for India, but legislative approval is for Australia. So which is more people centric? Australia. Why? Because people's leaders are approving it. Legislative body is approving it. Understand this. In Australia, for any trade agreement, it should be passed by the Parliament. In India, for any trade agreement, it should be passed by the Union Cabinet. Means if executive give its approval, it is sufficient. The ECT will enter into force 30 days after the respective parties came into existence. The first free trade agreement that India has signed with a major developed countries after 1 decade is Australia. Under the pact, zero duty benefit on 98.3% Australian tariff lines from the date of the agreement and will be extended to all Indian products with 5 years. So, that easy movement will be happening. No discrimination will be there. Prices will come down. When the prices come down, the trade will increase. And our target is, India expects bilateral trade of about $50 billion from the current level of $31 billion. So, what is the trade import and export between India and Australia? $31 billion. So, through this economic cooperation and trade agreement, I want to increase the trade from 31 to $50 billion. It will increase. Why? Because there will be no discrimination, the prices will be neutralized. So, the prices will be slowed down. So, the easy movement of the goods will happening if we have a ECTA. So, ECTA with Australia. Similarly, there is something called as SEPA, something called as SECA. If you Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. This I will discuss in the next current affairs class. What is SECA? What is SEPA? And now we have, what is this? ECTA. We have matched the following we can expect. ECTA with which country? Australia. We have SEPA. SEPA means Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. SECA, Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. You tell me, cooperation is big or partnership is big? Partnership, no, we both are partners. Partner means what? Right. Partnership is big. Cooperation means just I can cooperate or I cannot cooperate. But partners means both are doing business with profit. We have SEPA with Japan. Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. We both do business. We both together do business. That is called as SEPA. SECA means I am asking you, it's up to you to cooperate or not. So, SECA, SEPA, Free Trade Agreement, ECTA, these are all different varieties of trade agreements. In next class, I will discuss about those. So, we have India, Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement. After 1 decade, we had the free trade agreement with a developed country.